my magical podcast, Kale's Movie Club. No, Kale's Cool
Yay.
Movie Club. I'm joined today by
Yeah.
one of my bestest friends, Ondreia. We went to school together.
Hi.
We went to film school
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
So, and of
Cool.
course, I could have had so many people as the inaugural guest, but I chose someone who's talented and funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Let's hope on both of those things
yeah, she's definitely both.
throughout this.
So let's start. Let's do a little get to know you segment first. What inspired you to go to film school?
Movies were the only thing I ever really liked. I didn't like
I felt that.
sports. I did theater, but I didn't like it. I just did it because it was like the closest thing to movies. And especially, I don't know, I was like an introvert. So I watched a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And then the number just grew. And then it's just the only thing I care about now.
Same.
So then I wanted to at least go to school and do something for it because I think if I did anything else or tried to do anything else, I would hate it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty much
I mean, same. Honestly, same.
Yeah.
I didn't have very many friends, and I watched way too many movies and played too many video games.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to design video games or be a video game critic. So
Yeah.
I decided to go to film school and then proceed to throw almost $10,000 down the toilet and quit. But hey,
That's okay.
I just got that forgiven, so suck my ass.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're watching this live as we're recording it on Twitch, the applications have gone live, so be sure to fill out those applications. Get your free money from the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never paid a single dime in student loans.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I got it all back.
Like most people say that. Most people say that, I feel like
Yeah.
most people have talked about student loans. They're like, oh, I haven't paid a cent.
Yeah. And I will never pay a cent because I only have under $10,000. So.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah. Fuck you.
At least CFS is cheap.
Yeah, that was the good thing about because I work in post-production for porn at a certain company that I'm not going to say. And my manager was like, yeah, I spent $100,000 going to some film school in Colorado. And it's just like, dude, you could have gone to fucking Colorado film school. And this was like, so he's been working there for 10 years. So this was like probably 15 years ago. That school was there 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only would you have done that, but you could have like actually filmed something instead of, making a Volkswagen commercial for a friend.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got off cheap.
Yeah. I don't have any debt.
Hey, let's go, baby.
So
I mean, I wouldn't have had to take out any loans if my parents were like, you should take out loans to pay for your to pay for rent. And then I just moved back here.
Oh, really?
I moved back to my parents' house because I couldn't find a roommate.
Yeah.
That was acceptable. Yeah.
Most of them aren't.
No. Do you want to be roommates? You, me, and Brody?
When my lease is up.
Okay. Let's talk about some news stuff. The first news, Sydney Sweeney to star new Barbarella film at Sony Pictures.
Is that what this is? Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
First of all, honestly, I'm not surprised. I don't know. Like, looking at this picture, to be honest, don't know who Barbarella.
Was it a 70? It was like I want to say it's like a 70s light porno, but it's not. I think it was just like an erotic thriller where there's just like a bunch of tits in it, but starring Jane Fonda.
Well, I feel bad because I don't know. I just hope she didn't feel like she had to because she keeps coming out saying that she didn't like doing the Euphoria stuff.
Yeah, that one, like, like after because she did it a couple times, like in the first season. Well, yeah, she got like railed by that one dude who was in like 2 episodes in season 2.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like fucking, it just kept happening in season 2. I was like, this is making me uncomfortable. The amount of
I didn't
times you
even
do
watch
this.
season 2 because I'm stressed.
Yeah, it's so good though.
I'll watch it eventually. I think now that people are calming down about it,
Yeah,
I
they
can watch
there's an
it.
episode or there's like 10 minutes where they like actually make you give a shit about Nate's dad.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil the scene. You'll just have to see why.
That guy that likes fucking teens?
Yeah, uh, likes dropping T slurs and says I only like femboys.
Yeah. I don't remember. I really just, because I only saw that part once. Every time I've watched Euphoria after that, I've skipped over it
Yeah. Oh no, I
because I hate it.
there was like because they when they were doing like the recap and there was like at one point where they just kept showing that sex scene with Jules over and over again. So like I
I
just took like
hate
a
it.
3 second video of him going like with his ass out and I kept sending it to my friend like every week. But I'm like Euphoria's out. Ugh. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Yeah. You don't care that her parents are the Blue Lives Matters people?
No.
No? Okay. I thought it was because like you could reasonably explain most of that stuff out because they're like her family was wearing MAGA hats except it said make 40 great again. And it was like it
Yeah.
was a hoedown theme, which it's like you can argue that like that's ironic, but there's a dude straight up wearing a Blue Lives Matter t-shirt, like unironically.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people's parents are like, my dad's like
Same.
had a Trump sign, but I didn't, you know.
No, yeah.
I wouldn't
No,
wear a manga hat. I
yeah.
think it's just
A manga
no.
hat. I would wear a manga hat. I wouldn't wear a MAGA hat.
A manga. Sorry, I watched this YouTube series where they go through disturbing comics and they say manga.
Yeah. Oh, there's some horrible, disturbing manga. Um,
Yeah.
so this one's going to be a short one, but we got a
Okay.
release date for the third season of His Dark Materials. Have you watched that one?
I have not.
I
What is that
watched
on HBO?
it's on HBO. I watched the first one. It was really good. And then I started watching the second and then fell off for
Yeah.
reasons that I can't remember why. But anyways, it's going to start December 5th and apparently end on December 26th.
Oh,
Wait, okay, it says blah blah
it's
blah.
fast.
Uh, for BBC One with the release two new episodes per week. So they're going to release 2 episodes per week leading up to the finale the day after Christmas. Yeah, this is a show that comes out on
Action. Oh,
Mondays. Yeah, it's the action-packed final
James
season.
McAvoy.
Yes, James McAvoy is in it. What was they had to because they filmed the first 2 seasons back to back, and they were going to come back and do the one of the final episodes later, but then COVID happened, so they just cut his episode
Oh,
from season 2, so he was not in season 2
oh.
for the most part. But yeah, he'll be
No wonder you fell off.
in this one. The priest from season 2 of Fleabag will be in it. He's in the second season.
Actually, when I watched that finale of Fleabag, I almost vomited.
Is it Simon Kirby is his name? I don't know. But yeah. So I'm excited.
I
I'm
know
excited
exactly
to
what
do
you're
that.
talking
I gotta fucking watch the rest of season 2 because it
Yeah.
at one point they come to like because it's about like multiversal travel. At least the season 2 is, and so at one point they come to our
Oh.
universe, and I'm like, oh, this is now boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that one.
Compared to all the universes.
Yeah. So here's one of the greatest stories to happen this week. Alex Jones ordered to pay nearly $1 billion in Sandy Hook defamation lawsuit. Let's go, baby. Fuck that guy. Dude. Like,
I don't know how he didn't think that was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
I don't think anybody thought it was going to be like $1 billion, but like, oh my God.
Just you can't just.
No, you can't just say that and then do it for multiple years and never drop it like after, 6 months like most normal people would do. Even if you do conspiracy theories.
That's the thing.
So funny.
I literally only know Alex Jones for the stuff he said to the kid from Sandy Hook and then the frogs gay thing.
Yeah, turn to the frogs gay.
Yeah, and so far that's not good.
No. Well, and yeah, just to not back down from it when people are like, you're wrong. And he's like, I'm never wrong. And then
it's like, why?
It's like, no, you've been wrong 90% of the time. As Joe Rogan likes to say, he's wrong 90% of the time, but the 10% he's right. It's just like, okay, cool. Thanks, Joe Rogan. You're such a wise man. Honestly, in our age.
I kind of hope he is right that the water's turning the frogs gay.
I do too. I hope frogs. I hope the boy frogs kiss the boy frogs. I just want to see boy frog kissing.
Would that affect us at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably, but
because of the ecosystem. But I mean, if some of the frogs were gay, it doesn't affect them. But
yeah, also you can't. Not all the frogs.
Yeah, I mean, pride frogs. Everybody wants pride frogs.
I just say I hope pride frogs are real. That's
yeah. Pride frogs lives matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's hilarious. This one I just found interesting. I'm not going to really read into it. But Netflix released record-breaking 1,024 original TV episodes in Q3, more than 5 times any other service.
Okay, I did just watch. Netflix is kind of dropping a lot because I watched The Watcher yesterday. I watched all of The Watcher.
The Watcher. I don't pay attention. I don't have a Netflix subscription anymore. And the last thing I technically watched was Edge Runners.
The only reason I have one is because my mom loves TV.
Yeah.
She would never cancel any subscription.
That's why I have a Peacock subscription, is because my mom, there's a certain show that's only on Peacock now, and so we had to get a Peacock subscription, even though they're literally the worst streaming service because they premiered Halloween Ends rather, yesterday. Yeah. But you can't watch the other 2 Halloween movies. You can only watch the original Halloween 2. Yeah, Halloween, the first remake is on Hulu, and Halloween Kills is on HBO Max.
I just used Peacock to watch Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Okay. Actually, yes, so they have Halloween, the original Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. Well, you know what the worst one is? Is that Rob Zombie Monsters movie? They sold to Netflix.
Watch that today.
They sold that to Netflix when it has Universal branding on it.
I was gonna watch that because everybody says it's so bad.
I don't. The Monsters were never. It was never a great show, so I don't know what anybody expected.
I don't know what anybody expected either, because honestly, I don't know. Rob Zombie makes music video movies.
Yeah.
With his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for The Devil's Backbone,
or The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah. The Devil's Backbone.
No, The Devil's Backbone was by a really good filmmaker, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, that's a different movie.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah, The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, I don't like that one as much as I like House of a Thousand Corpses, but
me too, but a lot of people feel the opposite.
Yeah, well, they can go kill themselves in Roblox. I didn't say in real life. Yeah. Roblox. Everybody's favorite video game. Roblox. Yeah, I thought that was interesting that they've literally released more TV than most companies will ever release in a year. In 3 months,
Yeah.
but it
That
makes
makes,
sense.
I mean, yeah, they drop a lot of shows that I don't even know about.
No, they're like done also like marketing anything. All they do is release a video once a month about what's coming out next month. Like, and that's it.
Yeah,
Or they do, or if
yeah.
it's like Stranger Things or The Witcher, they'll be like, we're doing a fan con, and then we'll also put in a bunch of other bullshit nobody cares about, and then on the last day, here's the Witcher trailer, and then you're just like,
I think, yeah.
why did they put a progressive rock song on this fucking Witcher trailer? It doesn't make any sense.
The only reason I know about, I think, The Watcher is because it has Naomi Watson. I think
Oh,
that's why they advertised it a little,
yeah,
at least on
a little
YouTube.
bit. Oh, I have ad
Because
blocker, so
Naomi. Oh well,
yeah, I was
I don't
watching.
have YouTube.
One of my friends was streaming earlier, and I saw that she didn't have ad blocker on, and I was like, "Wow, we really got to sit through ads to watch a Key and Peele sketch." Okay.
Well, I also watch YouTube on my TV a lot, so I can't really put ad blocker on there.
Yeah. I don't. I I've kind of because like right now my desk, so I have 3 monitors and my TV's over there, and I have a perfect view.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't really use my TV because I have 3 screens in front of me, and I
yeah,
don't really have like anywhere to sit because my bed is facing that way, so I can't like watch. Like I did watch Halloween Kills in bed, but I'm like laying on my side watching it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, if it's a streaming service that doesn't have commercials, I'll watch it on there. But if it does have commercials, I'm watching it on here on my PC
Yeah.
that I've dumped thousands of dollars in.
Actually, I have been doing that because I got a VPN. So now I watched like Cult of Chucky on like the Netherlands Netflix.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah, yeah, fucking international rights are so weird.
yeah, so I actually have been, yeah, doing that too.
I
So I don't have
still
to
have a
watch
VPN.
ads.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ads are the worst. But yeah, I have a VPN to protect me from being hacked, but that's about it. And I had
I
to
mean that
do
too. I
like
have it for that
yeah,
too, but
I had to do like hours of research to find one that would not degrade my speed like most VPNs do.
I just got one that a YouTuber gave me a link for. So
NordVPN. Lud,
yes, I did get
did you use Ludwig's code?
No, dead meat.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
They do kill. He does kill counts. Like he does like
Oh, I think I've
horror
heard. Actually,
movies
I do
and
think
then
I've heard of
counts the
him.
kills.
I do think I've heard of
Yeah,
him. So
I watch him every day because I have nothing to do all day.
wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm just
know.
kidding. This one I tweeted about earlier this week, and
Oh,
it really hurt me. Watchmen creator Alan Moore says adults loving superhero movies is infantile and can be a precursor to fascism.
why?
Says the guy who writes comic books.
That made Watchmen?
He wrote Watchmen and has ceased any ownership over it since. Um, yeah, he's like a weird dude. He's like, I'm a wizard.
Oh,
Most comic book writers are fucking weird. Like, who is it? The dude who wrote Batman from like '05 to like 2012 says that he's the god of his own universe and we are our own gods. Uh, and he's like, you just need to get high on LSD and then you'll see what I'm talking about. uh, but yeah, so I've already read this article. Basically, he just goes on to say
yeah,
like people who like to live in a nostalgic state, like comic books are specifically written for children, which, he wrote this fucking comic book that has gratuitous violence and sex in it. That's totally for
yeah. I was like,
children.
Watchmen has a lot of sex.
Yeah. And by the way,
My
book
friend,
adaptations go, Zack Snyder's Watchmen is really well done until the ending.
yeah, I loved Zack Snyder's Watchmen, and I
Yeah.
remember when I was a teenager and my parents came in, I was watching it and they thought I was watching porn.
Yo, I read that and like I saw it like probably like 5 or 6 times in the theater. I took my brother to see it. And when I took my brother to see it, there's this dude who went to the church that we went to at the time, and he brought his dad.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, that's hilarious. And then like no, we slid it because we knew that what Watchmen was about, so we slid in our seats to avoid
Yeah.
looking at him, and they had no idea we were there. And then I brought it up to him at church the next
Watching
day.
that explicit sex
Yeah,
scene.
and I was like, I saw you at Watchmen. He was like, yeah. I was like, I saw your dad there too. He was like, yeah, that was awkward. I was like, no shit. Um,
Yeah, my parents hated it. They hated watching.
yeah, I bet. My parents don't like anything that I'm into, so
Well, they just thought I was watching porn,
yeah.
so they didn't like it. My mom loves Marvel.
She loves marbles.
Jesus.
She
Yeah, she
she,
loves
she could do a
Marvel.
pickup game like that. I've tried to snap with
Yeah.
the wrong fucking hand. Yeah. No, yeah. Did you watch She-Hulk? Or let's get into that. Did you watch She-Hulk?
No, I'm scared to watch it, okay? Because some people said it's the worst thing I've ever
It's
seen,
not.
but
It's
I don't know if
amazing.
they're just being dramatic. Because that's the thing about Don't Worry, Darling. Are people just being little like pussies
Uh, well, we'll
about
get into it.
She-Hulk?
But my theory is people just didn't understand. Don't worry, darling. No, She-Hulk is really good. And most critics are very like, or like most
Yeah.
people that I respect, love the ending, and I didn't. And I just want to kind of talk about the ending, and I want to know why people
Okay.
like absolutely loved it because the thing is, I didn't like what they did with the ending, but I thought what they did was executed flawlessly. Anyways, he
But
like this dude writes fucking comic books, uh, and he's like, yeah, it leads to fascism, and it's just like, okay, cool, whatever. But yeah, and then at the end, he's like, yeah, I realize that I played a part in that, but still, it's what I say is true. It's like,
I
okay,
think that's okay. I think the same way I think about all stuff like this is it's selective,
hmm
you know? Maybe some people it might turn already fascist person into like worse maybe,
yeah,
but it's not going to turn the standard person
no,
just flip them, you
yeah.
know?
I do agree that like spending too much time with nostalgia and like wanting to go to a simpler time is a very
Yeah.
easy route to fascism, like in Don't Worry, Darling. But I don't think like the average comic book reader wants to be stuck in nostalgia. I think they want a good story. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
some things just don't have that great of a story. Whereas like comic books are really about drawing and the story. And like
Yeah.
when you have both that are really great, that's when an excellent comic like Watchmen happens. And you know, it's like any book, like just
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
But
more to it.
yeah. But I just like it, like just hearing him say that is just the funniest thing I've ever heard. Okay. We got three more news stories. Let's
Okay.
go to a happy story about Brendan
Let's see if it's
Fraser,
King.
the comeback of the century. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
yes, I saw this.
yeah, he was recently in an interview. I guess this one goes a little bit more where it says he's open to doing Mummy again, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But my favorite part was like a critique that like I think a lot of people had, where it's like the Tom Cruise one failed because it wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun, and honestly, you could say that that wasn't even a mummy movie, and I would believe it because nobody in that movie looked like a mummy.
Yeah. No, it was the Dark Cinematic Universe Iron Man. But
Well, they should have tried harder to make people look like mummies.
yeah, they should have. I
I
mean,
don't know. In the Mummy, the original Mummy, they look like mummies.
They had Mummy, and then there was, also erotic body paint. So, like, they should have done erotic body paint. That's all I'm saying.
Something.
That's how the Pharaoh knew she was touched, is if her body paint was smudged. Because no one was allowed to touch her.
Well, they should try harder. Either way, with whatever.
Yeah. But one of the best things he said was like, it's hard to make that movie. The ingredients that we had going for our Mummy, which I didn't see in that film, was fun. That was what was lacking in the incarnation. It's too much of a straight ahead horror movie. The Mummy should be a thrill ride, but not terrifying and scary. I know how difficult it is to pull off. I tried to do it 3 times, which I feel like he successfully did it twice.
Yeah.
I think I've blacked out the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. No, he did. Yeah. Yeah, you got to have a little fun.
That one besides that one image that everybody has of the guy, the Scorpion King, maybe?
Oh, no, that's The Rock. That was the second one.
Yeah, okay. The Rock.
Yeah,
The Rock.
Well, no.
I haven't seen those movies since before my parents were divorced, I think. So that's...
Oh, dang. Yeah. I own those 2 movies on VHS, and I hooked up my VHS player 6 months ago, and those were the 2 first things I watched.
I love that.
So
I want to buy a VHS player, but my parents got rid of all my VHSs.
Wow.
So I'm going to have to...
I literally inherited a shit ton of my VHSs from my first grandma who died, and then I inherited a VHS player from my other grandma who died.
My grandparents... My aunts upgraded them, so they don't have that anymore.
Oh. No, my grandparents. So yeah, they had like a bunch of like regular TVs and stuff, but in one bedroom they had a tiny little tube TV, and then a VHS and DVD player, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I took both of those when she died.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I would.
So now I have like at some point when I clean stuff up, I'm gonna set up a cool studio room. It's not just gonna be cool posters like that are all behind me.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do. That's why I tried to do this background, because I knew what yours looked like.
Yeah.
And my room already looks like this. So.
I mean, mine does too. I sleep in here too. There's like a bunch of like Dark Knight and Batman posters over there.
I'm gonna buy a Birds of Prey poster like you, because that's...
Yeah.
I saw that and I was jealous.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite DCEU movie. Which, by the way,
Birds of Prey.
I fucking forgot to do this. We're gonna do it live on air. We're gonna do. I'm gonna do my Letterboxd top 4. I'm gonna change it.
Oh. Come back.
Am I gone?
Okay, no, you're back.
Okay. So my Letterboxd top 4. Okay. I don't know if you can see it as of right now. Is Batman v Superman, Jennifer's Body, Blade Runner 2049, and End of Evangelion.
I have that Blade Runner in mine.
Nice. So
mine right now.
Oh God, I love that Evil Dead.
Evil Dead 2013, Blade Runner 2049, and Lars and the Real Girl.
I've never seen that, and I recently did watch Scream, and it is really great.
Scream is good.
Yeah,
it's my favorite movie of all time.
Of every time. Also, my new profile pic that I've just put everywhere is me in a Harley Quinn wig, which I'm going to be for Halloween. Darren's like, we should rent an Airbnb, and I was like, yeah, that's good, because otherwise I would have had to done my makeup at your house, and that would have not been great. Because have you seen his house?
Like his mom's house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been great. How do I edit this? Oh, here it is.
What?
So we're taking one off, and we're putting on Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I love Birds of Prey.
So now my new top 4 is Birds of Prey, Jennifer's Body, Blade Runner, and The End of Evangelion. So
we have Blade Runner in the same place.
Do we? Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah. I don't know if mine's in order, but
Mine would definitely not be in order because I would put Birds of Prey over Jennifer's Body.
I took Jennifer's Body off to put Lars and the Real Girl.
It's fine. There can only be one person who calls it the Millennial Citizen Kane.
First of all, I got bullied in middle school and high school for liking Jennifer's Body.
Really?
And now every little bitch on TikTok
Fucking loves it.
is like, I love Jennifer. I was like, I was openly mocked.
I guess I was in high school when that movie came out, and nobody talked about it.
People would just be like, ha, 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 are you a lesbian? Because you know how 14-year-old boys like to call people lesbians and think it's like in a negative tone.
So dumb. 14-year-old boys are the worst, and I had to fight a bunch of them on TikTok a few days ago. So
yeah, you did.
This one is really sad. Actor Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid,
I did see.
Died today. This is breaking news, everybody.
I did see that fresh today.
Yeah. Oh, he was 72 also, though, which is outstanding.
I know. So that's pretty old.
Yeah.
And, you know,
that's ancient.
He was in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not going to release my opinions on Harry Potter. I already tweeted. You know what?
Well, yeah. But...
You know what? Let's do something even better than saying my opinions. Let's go to Twitter and I'll show you my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see this. JK, somebody asked, how do you sleep at night knowing that you've lost a whole audience from buying your book? JK Rowling said, I've read my most recent royalty check and find the pain goes away pretty quickly. And so my response to that is, remember this tweet when you think maybe I should buy that game where wizards shit their pants and then it vanishes.
Damn, you got her ass.
That's a real piece of Harry Potter lore that happened because Hogwarts is like a gorillion years old and was around before the invention of plumbing. And so in order to make it fit with the lore, somebody asked why, when they didn't have plumbing, how did wizards shit? And her answer was not they dug a hole and shat out in the back like most normal people. No, they shit their pants and then would use their wands to make it disappear.
What?
Which brings an even more insane thing, which is why is there toilets at Hogwarts at all if you can just make your shit vanish with magic?
Yeah.
like it just,
is it just
opened
because
up.
They don't want to go through the unpleasantness of shitting their pants?
I mean, the only people who would be like, who wouldn't understand that are people like Harry Potter who didn't grow up knowing magic existed.
Was the bathroom just to have Moaning Myrtle exist?
Yes. I mean, in lore, if you're a normal person, you're like, oh no, they took giant shits in those bathrooms. But no, if you're J.K. Rowling, you believe that trans women shouldn't have rights and also that magic can take away your shit.
Honestly, I would love that.
I would too.
It's true.
I hate the toilet. I hate it.
Me too. I hate peeing. Yeah. I hate having to go into a separate room.
Yep.
And then washing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy washing my hands, but I also like getting rid of germs.
Well, I like washing my hands, but
I enjoy
Purell. I always said that I want my superpower to be I can transport my pee and my shit to the toilet.
Yeah. I wish they just would invent a device that was like a diaper, but it just absorbed everything and didn't smell or give you rashes or infections.
Yeah, it transported somewhere else.
Like think about how much time you waste in the bathroom. And I'm not just talking about avoiding work.
I do go in there a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to again, how my job works is I have to watch six, like to still be able to be employed there. I have to watch 6 hours of content per day. And I usually watch about 7, so I'm even more under the radar. But so like, and you can do that as quickly as you want to or as slowly as you want to, as long as you hit the daily target, it's fine.
Yeah.
So like I don't have to go hide in the bathroom. I can literally just pull up a fucking YouTube video and watch that for 20 minutes.
I mean, I do that too. I'm just in a back room by myself all day.
Yeah. Hopping into random
Until
Discord servers to figure out how this thing works.
I was on Discord today because I was like,
I saw that because I had it up and I was like, why is shit moving? And then I saw you were in there, and right as I was about to jump in and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You jumped out. I was like, oh, that's sad.
I couldn't figure out how to turn it off.
No, it's fine. I just thought that was funny because yeah, I was like also still at work and I was like, and then I had to go back and check the text messages. Like, did I get the time right? But yeah, then I figured out, oh no, you're just trying to figure it out. I understand.
Yeah. I didn't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah. Which is funny because I was waiting to go online to make sure you had everything correctly done so you would have looked like an idiot. But yeah, I laughed at that. Also, a fun fact about work today is, so we do a hybrid schedule where we remote in 3 days a week and then we go to the office 2 days a week. That's going to change soon. I've heard rumors about how it's going to be fully remote, and I'm going to love it because then I don't have to look like a sad boy when I go into work because I don't want people to ask me questions. I can just look like this the entire time like I do when I work at home. But yeah, like so basically our office computers, like everybody has a PC except for our department, which has Macs. And so they just kind of forget that we exist half the time. So everybody else's computers, because we had to have a power outage to like install meters and stuff. So everybody's computers came on at like 10:30. Our department didn't come on at all. The other person who works in my department got theirs back on at 1. I got mine turned back on at 4 after sending 2 requests to the IT department to turn it the fuck on. Yeah.
Jesus.
So, and that literally made it so I could only do 6 hours worth of work instead of 7.
Yeah. Oh.
So, and that's the only part I'm mad about is that I didn't hit my regular goal, so I would stay under the radar. But that also just mean, but I hit the minimum, so that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I was like literally watching Don't Worry Darling while still like trying to refresh to get into my computer to finish my work for the day. It was so dumb. Okay.
At least I guess you had something to watch.
Yeah. Well,
pretty pornographic.
Yeah, we since we knew this was coming, like I was able to get all the stuff I needed to do a full day of work on one of the other days I was working. So I had actual, like I actually accomplished work despite all the challenges that were presented to me.
Yeah. Well, good. That's just...
Yeah. So I don't feel too bad. I just felt like it was just the dumbest thing ever because they're going around turning on all these computers and like they just forgot mine twice or 3 times rather. 3 times.
Yeah.
Because they had to be told to go specifically turn on our department's computers and they just forgot to do it the first time that they were told.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's literally it's a button on the back of the screen. That's all you had to do. You should have done it for every computer in the place and then let us sort it out when we come back on Monday or on Tuesday rather. Although no, some people will be there Monday. But yeah, no. Just they couldn't have done that. Also, the best part was when I was there on Thursday, there was a dude looking around at everybody who was working and what computers needed to be turned back on. And he made the notes. I saw him.
Oh,
He was looking right at my computer.
dude, they're just fucking around over there?
Yeah.
What?
I don't, like, to me, their department is kind of useless because I can just figure out what's wrong with my computer, but they have to justify how relevant they are. So they lock everything behind. Like, if you want to update or delete anything, you need to call them to get it updated or deleted. So I have like a wildly out of date Chrome just on my computer. And like, I'm just like, I'm not going to call them to update it. I don't give a shit. Like, if they want it updated,
I mean,
they'll do it. They'll do
they
it
could do it.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also, luckily we're getting we're getting PCs finally for our department sometime soon. But I only have 20 gigabytes on my computer. Half of the files that we have to watch are 4K and they're 40 gigabytes. So I can't actually download files to my
Yeah.
computer.
Oh,
It's so dumb. Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah. So the files I have to stream the files from the server that's downstairs. And the best part about where I work is our infrastructure is fucking crumbling because the parent company refused to update it. So and so now we have to update it, and they're spending like 5 times as much as they did if they were just to do it slowly. That's capitalism, baby. If it ain't broke, don't fix
Yeah.
it. But when it is broke, you're going to spend 5 times as much.
Yeah, I was like, if it's only a little broke, don't fix it until it's unavoidable
And my
and
titties are wet.
expensive.
Yep. Oh hell yeah, Shia LaBeouf. Yo, were you when you saw what the twist was? Were you kind of disappointed that Shia LaBeouf was not it was Harry Styles instead of Shia LaBeouf?
Okay, I wasn't disappointed, but I got it.
Yeah, I understand those voicemails a lot better now because he would have been perfect.
Like, I understood what, because at first I was like, why the hell would you want to? Why would you watch Shia LaBeouf in your fucking movie anyway?
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Yep. Once you see the like, and that's like 90% of what makes this movie kind of enjoyable. Besides, for me, the Jordan Peterson impression that Chris Pine is doing. Let's get into it. We're getting into it. Olivia Wilde, don't worry, darling. So we'll just read. Better Homes and Gardens. We're getting right into this. This is spoilers. Spoilers, everybody. We're getting into the spoilers.
spoilers.
This is like an article that showed up yesterday. But it says Olivia Wilde says, "Don't worry, darling. Sex scenes overshadowed film, which she played a part in.
I did, yep.
Film,
I did see
and then
that.
slams media firestorm. We didn't sign up for a reality show, which, yeah, and like it seems like a lot of it was overblown, and then of course not knowing what the actual movie is, like not seeing it, and you're just like, okay, it wasn't badly directed, but I understand like."
No.
I understand, like it does reflect, like some of the controversy kind of does reflect in the movie. Like you can understand, like she definitely had divided attention when she was directing this movie.
Yeah.
And it reflected in the final product because it seemed like the editing for 90% of this movie was horrible. Like I kept thinking that as the movie kept going along, because like the movie starts and it seems like it started 30 minutes into the movie. Do you agree?
Because I mean, because it starts how the trailer starts,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't expect.
I didn't either. Yeah.
I didn't expect them to start. Not that I expected, the story to be released, or like the twist, I guess, to release earlier, whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought we kind of started in the middle of like all these people already knowing each other so well that it was hard at first to be like, okay, who are these people? And I mean, in the movie, they're just simulations or whatever.
Exactly. But, like the twist is that it's all a simulation, and like that sort of like makes sense why nothing is sort of happens before they're all together. They don't really know their backstories too well. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of just how the day starts for the women, at least.
Yeah.
Like, they think they're sleeping or something, and you know, they just wake up in the middle of whatever the hell their husbands want them to be in the middle of, pretty
Yeah.
much.
No, yeah. Exactly. And like, yeah, and like that was the thing. I was like, this movie just feels very disjointed in the editing. And then it just like and there's like a point where halfway through you can get what the twist is, that it's not reality.
Yeah.
And then but it's just like, but when they reveal that they're inside of a simulation, and that she's just laying in bed for probably months at this point, because
Yeah.
she did not look very good, which was intentional,
Getting
by the
rag
way.
water.
Yeah. I don't mean that Florence Pugh looked ugly in it. I mean that she was intentionally supposed to look like she was withering away. But like,
Yeah, I mean, she kind of is.
yeah,
She was.
when it's revealed it's like a simulation, and like they brainwash them to be there, except for Olivia Wilde's character.
Yeah.
Then I'm just like, oh, that's why the editing was so disjointed, because it is from her perspective, and like we're learning things from her perspective, and that's how you would experience a simulation like this.
Yeah, because it's only on when he turns it on,
Yeah, when he turns
pretty
it on,
much.
and when she's there, yeah, yeah, or when she's conscious in it, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because yeah, there's like when she just wakes up in her bed after logging out the first time, that felt very
Yeah.
weird, and then yeah, and then when she comes back from the hospital, like they show like one scene of her in the hospital, and then it's just like cuts to 4
She's
weeks
back.
later, yeah, and it's like that was
Yeah.
very weird, and then the twist happens, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, like why the editing was so disjointed, which I think is what
Yeah.
people didn't really get in hindsight when they watched the whole thing. Because
But okay,
yeah,
the thing about this whole thing is this is pretty much just like a Black Mirror episode,
hmm,
and everybody understands Black Mirror so well, you
for the
know,
most part,
give or take.
yeah.
Why was this different, you know?
Uh, Part of it's the advertising, and part of it is the subject matter, where you have to be so brain broken to fully understand Jordan Peterson and the incel community.
Does that mean we're brain broken?
I mean, not you personally, me. I know I have so much, like, that's like, I laughed every time Chris Pine opened his mouth, because it is classic Jordan Peterson. Like, every line he did is something that he says, like when he's like, what's the enemy of progress? Chaos, the dragon of chaos. It's just, I laughed the whole time, and like nobody else in the theater got it, and I think they were like weirded out that I was laughing so hard at Chris Pine.
I always even thought that was the point. He's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is the point. It is the point, and he like, yeah, he deserves so many awards for that portrayal, because he perfectly ingested the essence of what he is, and how he uh talks, and like why people are sort of interested into him, because the way they show him in this movie is like, all the men really love him, and even like most of the women are like, yeah. And it isn't until later that Florence Pugh is like, he's doing something bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
because even thinking about having seen it now, he always kind of like brought Olivia into it.
because she's the only one who
When
knew
he
it.
was
Yeah.
yeah,
It was like well, wait, was she, no, she was at the house party scene at the beginning.
yeah, when he was like, "What are we doing?" And she said, "Change in the world."
Yep. And like, yeah. And his
And he's
wife, of
like,
course,
"Oh,
who from when we were talking before, it sounds like we have kind of different interpretations of that, where I just said she's an even worse misogynist than he is.
I mean, to be honest, the first time I watched it, I didn't know. Didn't at first understand why she stabbed him. I mean, I still don't really 100%,
I
or I
don't
don't
either,
know if
but
it's the like interpretation. Because I didn't expect her to stab him. I kind of
yeah.
expected her to like stand by him to the end.
Well, and that is sort of like, because I mean, and it's like she is like the antithesis of like sort of the of wives of those people, or like the anti-feminists,
Yeah.
where she like because she leads the what's that, the ballet class, which Olivia Wilde
Oh
doesn't really
yeah.
go
That
into,
all
and
the women are in.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's when she logs out, is when everybody goes to the ballet class. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so she's like reinforcing the stuff, and like because she probably believes this shit more than he does, because there's a point in the movie where he goes full mask off and is just like, I
Yeah.
need someone to antagonize me. I need someone to be my opposite, and I know it's you. I know you're going to try and take me down, and that's only going to make me stronger. And it's just like, yeah. And then so she like like he doesn't wholeheartedly believe this, but he knows like this would make a better society if women were subservient. But she believes everything that this motherfucker says with all her heart, and is like, I can do it better because you have failed us now. So that was my reading on it.
Yeah. I mean, and hearing you say that, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really, to be honest, when it ended, I didn't really think about her at all. I thought about everything else.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that, especially because under his rulership of these men, it was foiled.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like the first, like, because we get into like in the very beginning, like one girl has already like figured out that this is all simulation. She wants to get the fuck out, and
Yeah.
they're like trying to force her to stay. So like this keeps happening when he's doing it. So like, and she's like, I've had enough. Like, we're gonna bring back traditional values whether we like it or not.
Yeah. And they're not going to, honestly, that is kind of like makes it a little darker
Mhm.
in a sense because I believe that she would do better, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had successfully, was bringing his like again, it wasn't like she sort of was like seeing through the illusion, but it wasn't until that dinner scene when he's like, you need to antagonize me or else this is not going to work, that everything started to fall apart for him. Was
Yeah,
that
because
because yeah, like he played his hand a little bit too early. He thought she knew more than she did. um
yeah,
but yeah, like, and which was like a great dinner scene because he was very prepared for what she had to say. And that's the other thing you got to think about, like in hindsight with that dinner scene, all the men at that table know exactly what's going on. And then
yeah,
Olivia Wilde wasn't there, but his wife knows what's going on. And so he's going around asking the wives if they feel fine and comfortable here, not anybody who knows. He knows that she's not going to
yeah.
win over anybody who knows there, but he's like testing the water to see if any of these other women who have no idea what's going on, if they're buying into what she's saying, and they're not, which is why she failed in that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because because there were two scenes in the trailer, because I saw the trailer probably a billion times,
Yeah.
and it was the two dinner table scenes. It was, or not dinner table scenes, but the two scenes. The scene where they're like partying and they're like having fun,
Mhm.
and then the dinner scene where Florence, Alice, whatever, is like, "Do you even know what the Victory Project is?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well,
Do you?
you tell me what you think it is
Yeah.
then." Like,
Yeah. And yeah.
and
And
even at that point, you don't know. Nobody knows except for, I guess, the men and
yeah.
Olivia. But
Yeah. Like all the people, like, yeah, it's just like the two women there. And that was like when rewatching it, like that's what I found very interesting was he was only getting the temperature and like seeing what the other women who didn't know what this was, like if they were still tricked by the illusion.
Yeah. And
And
that, because, no, you say it.
I was, because that's like the people that he needs to win over to see if this
Yeah.
victory project actually works, because he's already won over all the incels. He's won over his wife. So he doesn't need to win over those people. He just needs to make sure that these women are still complacent and like what they're doing with the victory project is working. Because it's clearly not
Yeah.
working with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also something weird because Peg was always pregnant. And that's something I just realized while we were talking. I was like, she was pregnant the whole time. How long was she just, and she was like the same size
Yeah.
the
Well,
whole time.
I mean, I think really just in universe time before, because they don't show her after she gets back from the hospital. I think in universe time, that's like only been like a week. Like I think all these events keep happening day after day, like when we go in and out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, that's
I don't think her being that level of pregnant is too unusual.
because now for some reason I went to Conspiracy Town and I was like, was that even real? Because the kids weren't real. So it's a baby?
Yeah,
The
no. Well,
pregnancy?
I mean, I do think like, well, and I don't know because it's like because we only see the outside through Florence's perspective, so we know that they had a
That's,
pre-established relationship already. Um, so like
yeah.
that makes sense. Whereas like it's like especially the new people, the dude seemed like he could not get a woman to save his life. So I don't know if she's in the same room as him when he's in, or if if like the Victory Project itself kidnapped her and she's somewhere else.
That's okay. That's what I was thinking too. Because, yeah, that guy, even before you kind of know what's going on, you're like, that woman would never marry that man.
Yeah, yeah, and that was like a really big mystery because like again because like going into the movie I knew that this dude like I knew Chris Pine was Jordan Peterson, so I'm like okay all these dudes are incels, and I'm like and I was like because and I didn't want to think Harry Styles was an incel, which does kind of suck
Yeah,
about the
telling me.
yeah, well, that sucks about the casting, which actually, because if it was Shia LaBeouf, I would have been like, oh yeah, that dude's totally an incel. Which I think the casting kind of worked out for that twist in the movie's favor because you wouldn't think like this dude would be an incel.
It
And
worked for me.
yeah,
He would never.
yeah, he's the fuck, I forget the word, but he's like the dude in the dress that the media like attacks. Like he wore a dress on stage once, and so he's the cliche
Yeah,
dude
my
in a
dad.
dress.
That's the
Yeah,
only thing my dad knows about him.
yeah. So like yeah, you would never expect him to like play an incel and actually play it really fucking well. Um, yeah,
Oh my God, thank you.
like he would like I wouldn't say that he was like the best in the 1950s as an actor. Uh, like well, actually, no, actually he did really do a good job because
Oh, yeah, I think he did a great
he was
job.
not good at being like a stereotypical 50s guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which does feed into his character, and that may actually be bad acting. I don't know. It worked. It just worked. So,
I
uh,
don't think it is.
I
Because
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if
it
it's just
is,
because of I went
but
to
other
film
people would
school.
say
I've
that.
seen.
Oh
I
yeah, trust
know.
me.
I know.
We've seen the worst of the worst. So like when somebody's just like mildly good, they're not as terrible as like some of the worst people we've seen who think they could
I
act.
thought he was good.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I thought
I
he
honestly
was.
didn't even know that was him.
Yeah,
The
I thought he
incel?
was fine, but yeah, no, the incel is like he shined and was like very good at being the incel.
I didn't even
Yeah,
know that was him
yeah,
for like a few scene, like until after, like probably until we found out about the simulation thing. Because when she first, like that scene when Florence comes home and she's the surgeon,
uh,
and then he's like on the computer or whatever, on 4chan.
yeah. 4chan listening to his podcast.
Yeah, I did not know that was him.
Yeah.
I thought that was just like a whole other person,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
didn't make any sense story-wise, but it just was like
Oh,
that's when it kinda got me.
I feel like it made
'Cause
perfect sense story-wise because he was the makeup department was so good at making him stereotypical neckbeard.
I know! I didn't think story-wise it would make sense that it was a
Oh, at the
different
time.
person.
Or yeah, if it was a different person
Yeah,
story-wise. Yeah, no, I
but
get you.
I thought it was a different person. I thought that this was like a relationship before him or something, or why she went into the simulation or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I realized, like, God damn it, these people do not respect this. I don't, at least that scene, that was when because I genuinely was like blown away. And then the more they kept showing him with his like acne scars
Mhm.
and his hair, I was just like, that's insane.
No, and it was like it's a very good portrayal. Like what they did with his character is like one of the greatest portrayals of like the alt-right pipeline. Like the descent into that is because like
Yeah.
he descends into it because he loses his job, he doesn't feel like he can provide, and then she has to take over, which any sort of normal person would be like, I hate that you have to do this, but I understand, and like we'll get through
Yeah.
this together. But just something happened, or like when he was trying to find a job, he just at one point quit and then just went straight down this alt-right pipeline, which led him to this Jordan Peterson character guy. And he's like, he has like, I have a vertical monitor, so I'm kind of an incel. But which, first of all, he has a fucking Mac in the movie, and I was like, that's the one thing you got wrong, was that he would have a Mac.
Yeah, he would have built his own PC.
Yeah. So he would have had a PC, but like he's listening to this podcast on his main Mac screen, and then he has a vertical monitor that is just 4chan. And I was like, this is brilliant. Like I cannot believe Olivia Wilde fucking has the same kind of brain poison that I do.
Oh, because I've seen, like, have you seen Mainstream?
No. What's that?
It was directed by Gia Coppola, Sofia Coppola's niece.
Okay.
Um, and it has like Maya Hawke, Nat Wolff, and Andrew Garfield.
The greatest actors of our generation.
First of all, I think that two of them definitely are.
Yeah.
Well, maybe three actually. Probably
Well,
all of them.
I think all three of them. I think it.
Yeah, Maya Hawke is pretty good actually. The more I watch her, I was
Oh,
Nat
I
Wolff.
love her. Nat Wolff. I think Nat Wolff is like the least, is probably the worst of the three, but he's still fucking great of the three. And
Nat Wolff.
well,
I've loved Nat Wolff
I,
since I was 7 years old.
I think currently, I think Maya Hawke is really like everything that I've seen her in. She's fucking amazing. And I think Andrew Garfield, after he got done with Spider-Man, like took some
Yes,
time and really learned how to do really great things. And so that's
he's
why
incredible.
I think Nat Wolff is like the worst out of all three of them, but I think they're still some of the like the best actors of the generation.
Nat Wolff.
No,
My support for Nat Wolff runs through my veins.
yeah.
But
No, he's still really good.
The whole point of that movie was it tried to show like modern technology, good and bad.
Mhm.
And it did a horrible job, I think.
Hmm.
So even subtle stuff like that in movies, like that in Spree. Have you seen Spree?
No, I want to. I just haven't had the
Spree's so good.
time.
Um,
What is it on anything streaming?
it's Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Oh, okay, I don't have Hulu, so yeah, that's why.
Okay, well, it's like even that small moment in Olivia Wilde's movie for like a second,
Mhm.
it like outshines all of mainstream.
Yeah.
Even the Gia Coppola is a generally young person compared to like, even Olivia Wilde or whatever. So I was shocked about that too, because so many movies portray it like how other people portray it that aren't a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why I liked the movie so much, even though, is that it was so realistic,
Yeah, like she did
even
her
in the slightest ways.
research. Yeah. This like I really want to interview her just specifically about all the like how she got inspired by all the alt-right bullshit in Jordan Peterson just to write this movie. Like I want to know the pathology of exactly how she got the exact same brain poisoning that I did.
Yeah.
Like I find I find it so interesting because it's like you would not expect like her to like even like know what any of this is, let alone have enough
Yeah.
interest to write a whole fucking movie about it and to get things so perfectly right about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not wrong.
No,
If
it's
those people could do that, they would.
yeah, and it is like and that's like the other thing is like it like the movie wasn't marketed as enough horror. Like what they showed like sort of
Yeah.
was like, oh, things are uncanny and things are weird. But it's like, no,
Like a
this
thriller.
is one of the worst, like one of the most realistic horror movies of the past like year. Like
Yeah.
because and that is like some of the complaints that people are making who don't understand how real this thing could be is like it's just some white woman complaining about things. It's like, no, you don't understand. People think like this. People will do this, and like it's so easy for
Yeah.
them to get the brainworms in just by listening to a guy like Jordan Peterson because he says like a few good things or a few good things. He says a few things that people really resonate with, but then he has more batshit crazy ideas and more batshit crazy
Yeah.
people who follow him. Where it's just like we should go back to traditional ways. Where it's just like a lot of people agree with that because that's a simpler time and stuff. But then it's just like, but women should be in the kitchen and every man should have a woman given to him as a wife. We should have a society enforce monogamy and shit like that, where it's like, you're going batshit insane. Or like, women should stop wearing makeup. They're slutting up the office. It's just like, what?
Yeah. It's like nobody thinks that.
Yeah.
Like, and even most of those people, because that's the thing, Harry Styles, he obviously, like, even he had a job, whatever, he lost it.
Yeah.
He didn't think of that before. They weren't in the simulation before.
No, they weren't in the simulation. And like, they seem to like the scene that they showed us, they seem to genuinely love each other. And like,
Yeah.
she very much wanted to like, she's like, it's okay that I have to work a little bit extra until you get back on your feet. I love you. And this relationship is worth me sacrificing a little bit more time to keep us together and living together.
Yeah. And all it took was him not being able to handle that
Yeah.
for a second.
No doubt
And
it
then
took him
listening
6 months to listen to that podcast. Like he couldn't find a job for 6 months. He found that like, and trust, and maybe I'm like like I know a little bit more about that because of how bad the job market is and like how degrading and how down you get by putting out thousands of fucking applications and never hearing back for months at a time. But like, and it does drive you crazy, but I also am queer as fuck. So it never would have driven me to that. So like I understand how he got there and like I just didn't well and I understand how he got tricked by I understand a lot of this movie, I guess. Is like I understand, I just know from my personal experiences that he probably shouldn't have like that's just not the way. But yeah, like it's so easy to understand like that. Yeah, it just takes like someone losing their job and feeling emasculated for a little bit, even though it seemed like it like the emasculation, what is the perceived emasculation came from a place of love and like, we're going to get through this together. And then they just started drifting apart and he started going down darker and darker. Cause yeah, I'm sure it was like a couple of years. Like she's doing all these like longer shifts and stuff and like
leaving him alone all day.
Yeah. And like, and then it is like the incel thing where it's like, he in the later scene, the 4chan scene, he wants to have sex with her, and she's like, "I'm fucking tired, dude, and I gotta go to work in like 6 hours, so we're not gonna do this." And he's just like, "You're
Yeah.
not giving me the sex you promised me."
Yeah, and then okay, because that's another thing.
Yeah.
In okay, because that's a whole other part of his psyche, is that thing. Because he gets rejected from sex
Yeah.
once that we see,
Once.
for logical reasons. I mean, anytime you reject sex, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But in the simulation, he's always going down on her.
Yeah.
So what, does he think that that's like a service? Does he think that it's like, okay?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is
Like,
like that also sort of fuels into that like and it fuels into things like not not every person is a monolith. Not every incel doesn't uh doesn't want to like do like thinks that like going down on a woman is gay. Like
yeah,
they come in all shapes and sizes, and it's more about the
exactly.
process of how they get there. And
Yeah,
it just yeah, and it just seems like it's like again like especially when we see the relationship that second time, it's like that relationship should have ended a long time ago. And
yeah,
yeah, like like both of them should have realized to move on and do something else, but sometimes you get complacent. And it's not like Florence's fault. She like tried her hardest to do everything. He just
yeah.
got tricked into this lifestyle where like women should have women should just be at home all the time. And it's just yeah, it's ridiculous. And even like the funniest part about that whole thing is like at some point he gets a job because
I
he talks
know.
about how he has to fund this, and it's like, but why was that the final motivation was to live in your perceived paradise where she doesn't have to work
Exactly. Yeah,
for you to
he
get a
could have
job?
gotten a job and they could have just lived their real life together,
Yeah,
where she was still a surgeon. She still went to work, whatever, but,
yeah,
maybe less.
yeah, and she wouldn't have to work as much. And now it's like he has to
But
like
he,
pay for that
yeah,
apartment on his own with when he couldn't actually find a job. Is
yeah,
yeah,
because he just has to feed her water,
yeah, no,
which is
it,
insane.
yeah,
That stuck to me the most for some reason. That shot when he was just like, took a rag with water in it and just wrung it out in her mouth.
yeah, that was
I was like,
weird.
"That's so disrespectful, bro."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh god, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, like I it is just like the one thing that I was disappointed by the movie was that we didn't get more of that, and like hoping that there is kind of a sequel so we can see more of like what that reality is. And especially like finding answers
yeah,
to like where are all these other women at? Like are
yeah.
they were they kidnapped and then they're forced to live in this dude this cuck's parents' basement, for lack of a better word.
That's what I'm thinking. Like that girl, that the new girl, the new guy and girl.
Yeah,
What's that about?
yeah, because yeah, like because there was that like that's because we see how they like get into it, like get into the Victory Project. They have to be chosen, and like it makes them like that thing is like twofold because it like makes them feel special, like they're elite. But really, the
Yeah,
screening process is to make sure that they're not going to fucking be like cops or anything, or like totally flake on them doing something like very fucking illegal. Uh, but yeah, it's like that. Yeah, like that's just like some things I want to like learn more about the world because it's like if
yeah,
because from what we see, it seems a lot like our world, but they have this weird technology that not only can you go into a virtual reality world and feel everything without what we have as virtual reality goggles now, but you can also
yeah,
brainwash people with that.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's technology that doesn't exist. I hope it might. Who knows?
I know.
Um,
Because And also the thing about how Harry was able to change himself so much.
Yeah.
He made him British. He made himself British.
Yeah. He's like,
He
I
got rid of
want to be
everything.
British. Yeah.
He made himself how he actually is, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I
The
mean,
perfect man.
even in like the
His
earliest flashback, he doesn't really have like the acne scars and stuff. He kind of does look like that, except he has like longer hair and stuff. Like a goatee, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but when he has the chance to change it, he does.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's
He
just like, I
changes
want to
his
be this
whole
perfect, like what I think is my perfect version of me. Uh,
yeah, because the whole thing is that he let himself go physically, mentally, and emotionally.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that was like the long hair cracked me up so much. Yeah,
Me too, because I was shook that
yeah,
that was him. I did not
I
even know
laughed a
that was
lot at
him.
this movie, and I could definitely tell nobody understood this movie that was in the theater with me. I mean, they clearly tried to talk during the whole thing and like ask like, "What the fuck is going on? I don't understand." But even other than that, by like hearing some of the reactions to my reactions, it was just like it was very clear that the people who went into this theater with me did not understand. And I also I live in a very cucked town, so I don't feel like
Yeah.
the people who would go see this would understand it because I do believe that there are like people that they talk about in this movie. There's a lot of people who live in this area like that. And
Me too.
one of
Because
my
I think
biggest
it.
one of my biggest things is the person behind me who said, "What the fuck was that?" That's my biggest clue.
Yeah. Well, because I do that to movies. I go, "What the fuck was that?" all the time. When I saw 3,000 Years of Longing, what the fuck was that?
I haven't seen that, and now I want to see that just to be like, "What the fuck was that?" George
Then I
Miller.
saw Darling, and I'm like, yeah, incel man trapped his wife in a simulation because he thought it would make their lives better.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
You know? I mean, that's not it, obviously, but that's, the
No,
simplest terms. That's what
no.
happened.
Yeah, it's like there's like it's pretty like I do feel like once you see the twist, it is pretty easy to understand the entirety of that movie. Uh,
Yeah.
to get deep into it, you do have to understand a lot more things about incels, which I don't think the general population will understand. Which I know I've been saying this like over and over again, but that's what I read when somebody says they didn't like the movie. I was like, oh, you just don't have the same brain poison that I do.
Yeah.
You have to sort of know, like, you had to sort of know things before you watch this movie, and like maybe you could rewatch it and research it, but I
Yeah.
know the general public is not going to do it because like the last time anybody like incel sort of culture made mainstream news was when that guy like shot up a bunch of people, and that was like 2017. So like since then it hasn't been popular like on popular radar, which I still find it funny that Olivia Wilde made this.
I just kind of feel like this movie is like had got like the American Psycho treatment, you know?
No, what does that mean?
American Psycho. Okay, so people thought American Psycho was like m- anti-man.
Oh, because it was like directed by a woman and direct or written by a woman.
Yes, because it's a whole satire on, the like straight rich white man mentality.
Yeah. No, yeah,
And
it's
it,
a critique of that. It's not
yes,
radical feminist or anti-man. It's just it's anti-capitalist essentially.
yes, because people do act like this, and
Yeah.
people like this do cause the issues that they do. And even if it's not widespread, it's like I don't think I could live if I knew that women could just be like strapped down to a bed, put things on their eyes, and they're just put into something some man made up.
Yeah, just like literal slaves. Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
is a critique of like the housewife of the 50s. Because that like and I feel like because it's like just I mean that's their whole thing is like going back to tradition, and like they think that that was like
Yeah.
a good tradition to hold on to, was that women pop out babies and then stay at home, raise the children, and make food for the
Yeah, and that's
man.
exactly what Chris Pine said. He was like, we want, we want you to clean our house, make us dinner,
Yeah.
bang us,
We don't ask for much,
and don't talk
except it's a lot. Yeah.
about
Well,
anything that we don't want you to talk about.
yeah. And that is like the radical shit that Jordan Peterson does talk about, where it's like everything was ruined when we let women into the workforce and we let trans women compete in sporting events. And it's just like, okay, shut the fuck up. Not very many trans women do sports. There's like 5 of them. And you know
Yeah.
what? There's only one good one. So let us have something, please.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't matter.
No, it does not matter. Like, yeah. Or like, yeah, it's just like, yeah.
This is just an easy way out. The whole movie is just a white man, or I guess honestly any race could do it. Any race did do it in the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and that's sort of like the pitfalls of the whole thing, because it is like a lot of it is through the nostalgia, which does pertain back to what Alan Moore was saying, even though the subject matter he was talking about was bullshit, but he was right that it's like nostalgia and wanting a simpler time is very much an arm of white supremacy and fascism, because they just want to go back to a time when people of color didn't have rights, and
yeah,
minorities were treated subhuman. And so, especially because that's not at all popular today, they'll accept anybody
yeah,
who believes in their cause. But if it were to, like, if what they want to happen was to happen and it explode in popularity and people start going back to traditional ways, you bet your ass that they would kick every person of color that was in that simulation out if it got popular enough.
exactly. And what did we only saw one, I think.
We saw an Indian slash Middle Eastern dude who was married to
Yeah,
a white woman, and then
the
of course
peg
the black people, or the black couple. Sorry.
that were both black,
Yeah,
which I even when I saw the trailer, I was like, interesting.
yeah, like interesting, and then but it's also like knowing that and that's like how the leader of the Proud Boys is half black, I think. Um, and like because there's that famous Channel 5 interview where Andrew's like talking about that, and then he just like goes off on this tangent, and the dude's like, they say we're a white supremacist organization, and then he holds up his arm like, do you see any white skin on here and stuff? And it's just like, it's like, no, they're using you as a thing to get your movement to be more popular, but as soon as like it gains enough popularity and they don't need you anymore, they'll kill you. Like
Yeah,
they make no bones about that, but you're just too dumb to see it.
yeah, and that's okay. And do you think that was also, because now I'm thinking about this again.
Mhm.
Do you think that's why they had Gemma, an Asian woman, stab Chris Pine? Or do you think, or that probably, I don't know, that probably didn't have anything to do with it, really? But
uh,
like, what
I
does that mean,
I well, I
for
do
the
think
future
that did
of that?
that did feed into Olivia Wilde's casting decision, but also the fetishization of white cishet males for Asian women.
That's because that's
Yeah,
exactly what I thought. When I first found out that like that was his wife, I was like, first
yeah.
of course you have an Asian wife. Of course a man like that is gonna have an Asian wife, you know?
I need to see There's no, okay.
Oh my god.
I guess she's just a normal ass white woman. Never mind.
Tammy?
Tammy Peterson, Jordan Peterson's wife. Yeah.
Maybe that's what he
Okay.
cried about. He's so jealous.
No. So yeah, he's so jealous. Oh, so this is my favorite person. Is that he has a somewhat hot daughter, Michaela Peterson.
Don't they? I feel like a lot of guys like that have hot daughters.
Oh no, they do. But like, but
Who's Tommy Lauren's dad?
Tommy. Oh, I haven't thought about her in a long. Is she still relevant?
Oh no, she's just who I think of.
No, I mean you're correct. Tommy Lauren, father.
Oh, she went to University of Las Vegas.
Oh wow, that's who are Kevin Lauren and Trudy Lauren. Okay, so this is. I mean, yeah. I mean, he looks like a Republican.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's all I can say is he looks like a Republican. No, but who is it? Michaela Peterson. She so at what this is very inside. Oh no, here he is. So when during the pandemic, was it Jordan Peterson? He got addicted to benzos, and so he somehow ended up in a Russian hospital to wean off his addiction. And this was like in like May of 2020. And so and Michaela Peterson was there. And so instead of taking care of him, she went to party with this dude, Andrew Tate. Do you know who Andrew Tate is?
Yeah, I don't agitate. I
Bugatti,
do.
Bugatti sparkling water. I'm so glad we have the same brain poison. But yeah,
I know
she
Andrew Tate. I know he got his house raided because he was trafficking Romanian women.
oh, not only that, he did the same thing in England, and that's why he doesn't really go back there anymore. And that's why he moved to Romania is because he was
Yeah.
trafficking women there and got into trouble. Moved to Romania where the police are less stringent, and the only reason why the police did anything was because there was like a diplomat's daughter there, and
Yeah.
so they had to do something. But yeah, Bugatti sparkling water, calls you Bugatti. But yeah,
I mean, Andrew Tate.
he fucking he had a fucking pyramid scheme. My favorite part is like there were people who were like I don't believe this pyramid scheme, but they still paid the $50 to go into it, like actual like investing people, because that was one of the things that they were teaching was people how to invest. And the dude was like looking at all the stock tips, and so he bought all the stock tips, and like he lost so much money on the stock tips that they were giving him.
That's the thing. It's all a scam because they just want to like.
Yeah, and then he has to
They don't care.
yeah, and then when he gets like challenged on anything, he has to bring in his like homies who will just like interject and just say the most outlandish shit so that he doesn't have to actually answer anything. It's so funny. Like I'm so glad he got banned. Oh no,
so mad.
If there's an ounce of pushback, he does not take it well. Like he only likes that people agree with him. But if you're just like if you give him like any pushback, you're like because when he's like all the car accidents I've been in have been in with women, and it's just like, well, how many car accidents have you been in? Like 7, and it's just like, well, maybe you're the bad driver. Maybe it's not women. Maybe it's you, because I don't know about you. I've been in one car accident. I've in my life, and I've driven a lot.
2? I think I have 2.
You've been in 2, so maybe he is right. So. No, I'm kidding.
It's been almost 10 years.
When did? Yeah, I think mine was like in 2014.
It's been almost 10 years of me driving.
And it wasn't even my fault. It was because a deaf person, an old guy who was hard of hearing backed his giant F-350 into my tiny Hyundai, and he dented the hood.
The guy with a cowboy hat hit me from behind.
Wow.
That sounds bad. A guy with a cowboy hat.
Was it an F-350?
Stop their car. It might have been. Did not stop their car and rammed into my Mitsubishi Endeavor.
That's a funny name for a car.
I know. That's part of the reason why I said it.
Yeah, at least it's not a Kia Soul. Oh, wait. And now, hanging with Brody.
Jordan Peterson, the science or the
Psychology, hard-hitting questions.
I was scared. The only place I like to be perceived is Letterboxd.
Oh, okay, let's shout out your letterbox.
My
Letterboxd
Letterboxd is, what is it?
I'm
How do
looking it
you
up now. Let's see, Ondreia.
It's Film Bitch 420 without the I in bitch.
Oh, Film Bitch 420 without the I in bitch. Go follow her on there. You can find great reviews, or you can find reviews like the Don't Worry Darling one, which says, I have thoughts. And then the review just ends.
Too high to write my thoughts.
That was so hilarious. But it started this podcast, so remember that, kids. Maybe just don't write reviews on Letterboxd, and I'll ask you to be on my podcast.
Yeah, I'll come back and we'll talk about Midsummer.
Yes, let's do it, because I have a lot of thoughts on that, because the first time I watched it, I did not enjoy it. And then the second time, oh boy, it's one of my favorite movies.
The first time I watched it was a literal visceral experience. I literally felt my soul leaving my body.
Yeah. I didn't understand it the first time I watched it. Not gonna lie.
I think I got dumped 2 months before I saw it. So I think that really had a lot
hold on
to do
one
with
second.
my visceral. I have to go eat dinner. You can go.
I mean, I might. Just because you know it's gonna go to shit that night. That night's gonna go to shit. Thank you so much for listening.